The arrival. In the vast expanse of the universe, where stars twinkled like diamonds against a velvet backdrop, a council convened. This was no ordinary assembly. It was the Galactic Council, a coalition of advanced civilizations from across the cosmos. Each member represented a species that had long since mastered the art of war, diplomacy, and technology. They had seen countless worlds rise and fall, yet none prepared them for what lay ahead: the arrival at Earth. A primitive curiosity. Initially, Earth was deemed a primitive curiosity, a backwater planet teeming with life, but lacking in technological sophistication. The Council's representatives viewed it as an opportunity for exploration rather than conquest. They cataloged its diverse ecosystems, vibrant cultures, and rich histories, all while underestimating the tenacity of its inhabitants. Humans were seen as little more than curious creatures, fighting over resources with rudimentary tools. However, this perception would soon change dramatically. The invasion begins when the Council decided to send an exploratory fleet to Earth. They expected compliance. Sleek ships adorned with advanced weaponry descended from the heavens, casting shadows over fields and cities alike. As they landed, their commanders issued demands for surrender through holographic projections, confident that humanity would bow before their superior technology. But they were met with an unexpected response. A shotgun blast echoed through the air as a rancher in Montana defended his cattle against these intruders. This was not the meek surrender they anticipated. It was a declaration of war. Human resilience on display. The first weeks of the invasion became a brutal bloodbath for the aliens. Earth's diverse environments, frozen tundras, scorching deserts, humid jungles, proved deadly to their forces. Their sophisticated energy weapons malfunctioned in humid jungles where moisture played havoc with their systems. Bioengineered soldiers designed for combat on other planets succumbed to diseases that humans had battled since their earliest days. The aliens had not prepared for warfare on Earth, a death world where even the smallest creatures fought back fiercely. They were met not only by military forces, but by every man with a hunting rifle, every farmer wielding a pitchfork, and every teenager who knew how to rig explosives from household chemicals. A battle unforeseen. One significant early battle occurred deep within the Amazon rainforest. The Kushti, a reptilian species known for its brute strength and thick hides, believed they would have the upper hand in this dense jungle terrain. However, they were tragically mistaken. Human guerrilla tactics honed through centuries of conflict turned the rainforest into a deadly trap. Snipers hidden among foliage picked off Kushti soldiers one by one. Reports flooded into the Galactic Council's high command situated safely on their moon. Units decimated by what they considered primitive ballistic weapons, entire platoons reduced to chaos by traps that turned their advanced technology against them. Rise of General Marcus Hunter realization among invaders. The Galactic Council began to realize they had underestimated this so-called primitive species. Earth was not just another planet. It was a crucible of conflict that had tempered humanity into something far more dangerous than they had ever anticipated. As reports continued to pour in detailing losses and tactical failures, morale among alien ranks began to wane. The Council's forces were being blood dry, their strategic objectives slipping further out of reach with each passing day. Yet this was only the beginning. The true horror for these invaders lay not just in immediate brutal resistance, but in understanding that humanity had only begun to tap into its potential for war. Among those leading humanity's charge was General Marcus Hunter, a name that quickly became infamous among invaders. A former Special Forces operative who had seen combat across various terrains on Earth, he transformed his knowledge into guerrilla warfare strategies tailored to exploit alien weaknesses. As he stood amidst the ruins of what was once a peaceful suburban neighborhood, he watched his men prepare for another wave of attacks. He understood that this war was far from over. Yet he also recognized that humanity had already shown these invaders a glimpse of their true nature, a relentless spirit ready to fight for every inch of their homeland. As days turned into weeks, General Hunter prepared his forces for what lay ahead, an unyielding determination fueled by love for their home planet and an innate drive to survive against all odds. Humanity was ready to show them so much more than mere survival. They were about to unleash everything they had learned from living on a death world, a world where even the smallest creatures could become fierce fighters when pushed against a wall. The aliens called it the Great Reversal. They had bitten off far more than they could chew, awakening a sleeping giant whose wrath would soon be unleashed upon them in ways they could never have imagined. A new dawn for humanity. As the dust settled from the initial chaos of the invasion, a new spirit began to rise among the people of Earth. The shock of the alien onslaught had transformed into a fierce determination to fight back. Across continents, in cities and rural areas alike, ordinary citizens were awakening to their potential as warriors. The world had become a battlefield, and humanity was ready to defend its home. General Marcus Hunter, now a symbol of resistance, stood at the forefront of this awakening. His leadership had inspired countless individuals to take up arms against their extraterrestrial oppressors. It was not just military personnel who joined the fight. Farmers, teachers, and even children were rallying to protect their homeland. They were no longer passive victims. They were becoming an organized force. Formation of resistance groups. In every corner of the globe, resistance groups began to form. Some were small and localized, while others grew into larger coalitions that coordinated their efforts across borders. In the United States, groups like the Earth Defenders emerged, composed of veterans and civilians alike. They shared resources, knowledge, and strategies to combat the alien threat effectively. Meanwhile, in Europe, an underground network known as the Coalition connected various factions fighting against the invaders. This group utilized technology and communication methods to relay information about alien movements and tactics. They developed a system of alerts that warned communities about impending attacks, allowing them to prepare and respond swiftly. Key figures emerge. Among these burgeoning groups, several key figures began to stand out. One such individual was Dr. Elena Vasquez, a brilliant scientist who had been working on renewable energy technologies before the invasion. Her expertise became invaluable as she began developing makeshift weapons and defenses using readily available materials. Dr. Vasquez's innovative ideas helped turn everyday items into effective tools for resistance. Another prominent figure was Liam O'Connor, a former park ranger with extensive knowledge of wilderness survival. He became an essential leader in guerrilla tactics, teaching others how to navigate through forests and mountains while avoiding detection by alien forces. His ability to blend into nature made him a ghost on the battlefield, striking swiftly and disappearing before the enemy could retaliate. Early victories. The early victories of these resistance groups fueled their momentum. In a remote village in South America, locals devised a plan to ambush a small squad of alien soldiers who were patrolling their area. Using their knowledge of the terrain, they set traps that incapacitated several aliens before launching a surprise attack from hidden positions. The victory sent shockwaves through both human and alien ranks. In another instance, in Eastern Europe, a group of farmers banded together to defend their land from an approaching alien convoy. Armed with farming tools transformed into weapons, pitchforks became spears, and tractors were modified into makeshift armored vehicles. They successfully repelled the invaders. News of these triumphs spread rapidly through social media channels, igniting hope among those still reeling from despair. The role of technology. While human ingenuity played a significant role in these victories, technology also became a crucial factor in leveling the playing field against superior alien forces. Resistance groups began scavenging for advanced technology left behind by fallen alien soldiers or abandoned spacecraft. Dr. Vasquez led efforts to reverse engineer alien technology whenever possible. She discovered ways to repurpose energy shields into protective gear for ground troops and adapted alien drones for reconnaissance missions. These technological advancements gave humanity an edge they desperately needed. Psychological warfare. As humanity began to organize and strategize effectively, They also employed psychological warfare against their alien adversaries. General Hunter understood that fear could be as powerful as any weapon in combat. He initiated campaigns designed to demoralize the invaders by broadcasting messages that highlighted human resilience and determination. Resistance fighters would leave messages in alien languages near battlefields where they had achieved victories. Phrases like, "We will not surrender," or "You are not welcome here." These actions served not only as warnings but also as psychological blows against the confidence of the aliens. The Galactic Council's reaction. Back at the Galactic Council's headquarters, panic began to set in as reports flooded in detailing unexpected human victories and increasing coordination among resistance groups. The Council had anticipated an easy conquest. They had never considered that humans would unite so fiercely against them. Discussions among Council members grew heated as they debated how best to respond to this unforeseen challenge. Some suggested more aggressive tactics, deploying larger forces, or utilizing devastating weaponry capable of obliterating entire cities without regard for civilian casualties. Others argued for caution. They feared that such actions would only galvanize human resistance further. Internal conflicts among aliens. As discussions continued within the council chambers, internal conflicts began to surface among different species represented there. Some factions believed that Earth should be left alone entirely, that humanity's fierce spirit was too unpredictable and dangerous to confront directly. Meanwhile, others insisted on demonstrating their superiority through overwhelming force, a strategy that had worked throughout their history, but now seemed increasingly flawed against this tenacious species known as humans. The turning point. As weeks turned into months since the invasion began, it became clear that humanity was not merely surviving. They were thriving under pressure. General Hunter's leadership inspired more individuals to join the fight daily. People from all walks of life, united by one common goal: protect Earth at all costs. The tide was turning. Each small victory built upon another until it became a wave of defiance crashing against the alien forces occupying their planet. Humans were no longer just fighting for survival. They were fighting for dignity, freedom, and their very existence. A call to arms. With each passing day, General Hunter felt an urgency growing within him, a need to rally more forces than ever before for what lay ahead. He called upon leaders from various resistance groups across continents for a summit, a meeting where strategies would be shared and alliances strengthened. The world was watching. Hope flickered like a flame in dark times as humanity prepared itself for what would undoubtedly be one of its most significant battles yet, the battle not just for survival but for reclaiming Earth from its invaders once and for all. As he gazed out over his assembled troops, men and women ready to fight beside him, Hunter felt an overwhelming sense of pride swell within him. They were no longer just individuals. They were part of something greater than themselves, a united front against tyranny. And deep within him stirred an unshakable belief. Humanity would rise again from this chaos stronger than ever before because they had learned one crucial lesson. When pushed against a wall, humans do not back down. They fight back with everything they have until victory is theirs, a world united. As the resistance against the alien invaders grew stronger, a sense of unity began to spread across Earth. People from all walks of life, scientists, farmers, teachers, and soldiers, came together with a common goal: to reclaim their planet. The initial shock of the invasion had transformed into a fierce determination to fight back. Humanity was no longer just reacting. They were strategizing, adapting, and evolving in ways that surprised even themselves. General Marcus Hunter stood at the helm of this movement, his leadership inspiring countless individuals to join the fight. The message was clear: Earth was worth fighting for, and they would not go down without a struggle. As resistance groups coordinated their efforts, they shared resources and knowledge, creating a network of fighters ready to take on their formidable foes. Guerrilla warfare takes shape. The tactics employed by the resistance were as diverse as the people fighting. Guerrilla warfare became the cornerstone of their strategy. Small groups of fighters would strike quickly and disappear before the aliens could mount a counterattack. This approach allowed them to exploit the weaknesses of their technologically advanced adversaries. In urban areas, buildings became fortresses. Resistance fighters transformed abandoned warehouses into command centers, using them to plan ambushes and coordinate attacks. In rural regions, farmers turned their fields into battle zones, using tractors and other equipment to create makeshift barricades and traps. One notable operation took place in a small town in Texas, where a group of local militia members devised a plan to ambush an alien supply convoy. Using their knowledge of the terrain, they set up hidden positions along the road and waited for the right moment. When the convoy passed, they unleashed a barrage of firepower that left the aliens reeling. This victory not only boosted morale, but also showcased humanity's ability to adapt and innovate under pressure. The power of technology. As the conflict raged on, technology played an increasingly vital role in humanity's fight for survival. Dr. Elena Vasquez and her team worked tirelessly to reverse engineer alien technology that had fallen into their hands. They discovered ways to repurpose alien weapons and shields for human use. One breakthrough came when they managed to adapt an alien energy shield into portable protective gear for ground troops. This innovation significantly increased their chances of survival during skirmishes with alien forces. Additionally, hacked alien drones were used for reconnaissance missions, providing invaluable intelligence about enemy movements. Resistance groups also began sharing information through encrypted channels, allowing them to coordinate attacks more effectively. This newfound technological prowess gave humanity an edge in battles that had previously seemed hopeless. The Battle for New York. The turning point in the war came during the Battle for New York City. The alien flagship, a massive floating fortress, hovered ominously over Manhattan, casting a shadow over its iconic skyline. The aliens broadcasted demands for immediate surrender, expecting compliance from a city that had been shaken by fear. Instead, they were met with an unexpected response. A barrage of missiles launched from hidden launch sites throughout the city. Resistance fighters emerged from subway tunnels and skyscrapers, launching a coordinated attack that caught the aliens off guard. In this battle, humans demonstrated their most dangerous trait: ingenuity. They repurposed civilian technology for warfare in ways that stunned their enemies. Drones hacked and weaponized swarmed alien command centers, while improvised railguns built from salvaged components punched holes in alien armor. Even simple Molotov cocktails hurled from rooftops wreaked havoc on alien troops. Resilience in adversity. But it wasn't just advanced weaponry that made the difference. It was human resilience, their unwillingness to bow to a superior force, and their capacity for unity in the face of annihilation. Men and women who had never held a gun before took up arms alongside seasoned veterans who had seen combat across various terrains. The aliens had expected to face disorganized rabble. Instead, they encountered a united front of warriors willing to fight for every inch of their homeland. As reports flooded back to the Galactic Council detailing human tactics and strategies, it became clear that Earth was not just another planet. It was a crucible of conflict that had tempered humanity into something far more dangerous than they had ever anticipated. The Galactic Council's dilemma. Back on their distant moon base, members of the Galactic Council watched in disbelief as reports streamed in about unexpected human victories and increasing coordination among resistance groups. Panic began to set in as they realized they had underestimated this so-called primitive species. Discussions among council members grew heated as they debated how best to respond to this unforeseen challenge. Some suggested deploying larger forces or utilizing devastating weaponry capable of obliterating entire cities without regard for civilian casualties, an approach that had worked throughout their history, but now seemed increasingly flawed against such tenacious opponents. Others argued for caution. They feared that such actions would only galvanize human resistance further. The Council found itself divided. Some factions believed Earth should be left alone entirely, while others insisted on demonstrating their superiority through overwhelming force. a growing resistance. As weeks turned into months since the invasion began, humanity continued to adapt and grow stronger under pressure. General Hunter felt an urgency building within him, a need to rally more forces than ever before for what lay ahead. He called upon leaders from various resistance groups across continents for a summit, a meeting where strategies would be shared and alliances strengthened. The world was watching. Hope flickered like a flame in dark times as humanity prepared itself for what would undoubtedly be one of its most significant battles yet, the battle not just for survival, but also for reclaiming Earth from its invaders once and for all. A call to arms. As General Hunter gazed out over his assembled troops, men and women ready to fight beside him, he felt an overwhelming sense of pride swell within him. They were no longer just individuals. They were part of something greater than themselves, a united front against tyranny. Deep within him stirred an unshakable belief. Humanity would rise again from this chaos stronger than ever before because they had learned one crucial lesson. When pushed against a wall, humans do not back down. They fight back with everything they have until victory is theirs. With each passing day, General Hunter knew that humanity was awakening its full potential as warriors on this death world, a world where even the smallest creatures could become fierce fighters when pushed against a wall. And he was ready to show them so much more than mere survival, a heart of resistance. As the war against the alien invaders raged on, it became clear that the strength of humanity lay not just in its weapons or tactics, but in its spirit. Across the globe, people were coming together, driven by a shared purpose and an unyielding determination to protect their home. This collective resolve transformed ordinary individuals into extraordinary warriors, each contributing their unique skills and perspectives to the fight. In the heart of every resistance group, stories of bravery and sacrifice emerge. These tales inspired others to join the cause, creating a ripple effect that spread throughout communities. From city streets to rural farmlands, people rallied together, forming a tapestry of resistance woven from diverse backgrounds and experiences. The power of unity. One of the most striking aspects of this movement was the unity among different cultures and nations. Former rivals put aside their differences to focus on a common enemy. In Europe, French farmers joined forces with German engineers, pooling their resources to create makeshift weapons and defenses. In Asia, traditional martial arts experts trained civilians in self-defense techniques, empowering them to stand up against their oppressors. The global nature of the resistance was symbolized during a massive rally held in front of the United Nations headquarters. Thousands gathered, chanting slogans of defiance and solidarity. Flags from various nations waved proudly as speakers shared stories of hope and resilience. This event marked a turning point. It was no longer just about individual battles, but a unified front against a common foe. Stories of courage. Among those who rose to prominence during this time was Maya Chen, a young woman from Beijing whose family had been affected by the invasion. When her neighborhood was attacked, she lost her younger brother in the chaos. Fueled by grief and anger, Maya became a fierce advocate for resistance efforts. She organized community meetings where locals could share their experiences and strategize ways to fight back. Her charisma and leadership inspired many to take action. Soon enough, she led a group of volunteers who transformed an abandoned factory into a training ground for new recruits. They practiced drills, learned about improvised weaponry, and honed their skills for combat. Maya's story resonated with countless others who had suffered losses due to the invasion. Her determination reminded them that they were not alone, that every life mattered in the struggle for survival. Innovation in adversity. As resistance groups grew in number and strength, they also became hubs of innovation. Dr. Elena Vasquez continued her work on repurposing alien technology, but also encouraged collaboration among scientists and engineers worldwide. They shared ideas through encrypted channels, creating a network dedicated to advancing human capabilities. One groundbreaking invention emerged from this collaboration: an energy-based weapon that harnessed solar power. Using salvaged alien components combined with human ingenuity, they developed portable devices capable of firing concentrated energy blasts. This weapon leveled the playing field against alien armor and became a game-changer on the battlefield. Resistance fighters began using these new weapons during skirmishes with alien patrols. The sight of humans wielding advanced technology shocked their adversaries, an unexpected twist that further demoralized alien troops. The role of media. In addition to physical resistance efforts, media played a crucial role in shaping public perception and morale. Independent journalists risked their lives to report on human victories and resilience stories from around the world. They broadcasted updates via social media platforms, ensuring that information flowed freely despite attempts by the aliens to control narratives. These reports highlighted acts of bravery, like when a group of schoolchildren used slingshots filled with homemade explosives to disrupt an alien patrol near their town. Videos went viral, showcasing human creativity in combat while igniting hope among those still living under occupation. The media also served as a platform for voices advocating peace once victory was achieved, a reminder that humanity's strength lay not only in warfare, but also in compassion. The alien response. As reports of human ingenuity spread across galaxies, the Galactic Council began to feel pressure from within its ranks. Some factions argued for an all-out assault on Earth, an attempt to crush this uprising once and for all, but others cautioned against such actions. The Council's internal divisions grew more pronounced as they debated strategies for dealing with humanity's unexpected tenacity. Some members proposed deploying even more advanced weaponry capable of obliterating entire cities without regard for civilian casualties, a tactic that had worked throughout their history, but now seemed increasingly flawed against such determined opponents. The battle for humanity's future. Meanwhile, General Marcus Hunter prepared his forces for what would be one of the most significant battles yet, the battle for humanity's future. He understood that this conflict was not just about survival. It was about reclaiming Earth from its invaders and ensuring that future generations would never have to face such tyranny again. Hunter called upon leaders from various resistance groups worldwide for a summit, a gathering where they could share strategies and unite under one banner: Earth First. The atmosphere was electric as representatives from different cultures exchanged ideas and forged alliances, preparing for war. With renewed vigor, resistance fighters returned home armed with new strategies and technologies developed during the summit. They began training more recruits than ever before, while fortifying defenses around key locations across continents. In urban areas like New York City and Tokyo, urban guerrilla fighters prepared for intense street battles against alien forces, while rural militias trained in guerrilla tactics suited for open landscapes. As humanity prepared itself for what lay ahead, a final showdown with their extraterrestrial oppressors, they understood one crucial truth. They were no longer just individuals fighting back. They were part of something greater than themselves, a collective force fueled by love for their home planet. A new dawn approaches. As night fell across cities illuminated by flickering lights from makeshift campsites, filled with soldiers preparing for battle, the spirit of humanity burned bright. They had awakened something deep within themselves, a fierce determination, forged through adversity that would guide them into whatever lay ahead. The tide was turning. Each small victory built upon another until it became an unstoppable wave crashing against alien forces occupying their planet. And as dawn approached on what would become known as the Day of Reckoning, humanity stood united, ready to unleash everything they had learned from living on this death world, a world where even the smallest creatures could become fierce fighters when pushed against a wall. The aliens had awakened a sleeping giant, and now it was time for Earth's warriors to rise. A shift in strategy. As the battle for Earth intensified, the Galactic Council found itself grappling with an unprecedented dilemma. The initial confidence they had felt in their technological superiority was rapidly eroding. Reports of human ingenuity and resilience flooded in, detailing how the resistance had adapted to their tactics and weaponry. The council members were no longer discussing mere conquest. They were now debating survival. In the grand chambers of the council, representatives from various alien species gathered, their expressions a mix of disbelief and concern. The once unstoppable forces of the Galactic Empire were now facing a relentless foe that refused to yield. The council had underestimated the human spirit, a mistake that could prove catastrophic. Internal divisions. As discussions unfolded, internal divisions among the council members became apparent. Some factions advocated for a full-scale assault on Earth, believing that overwhelming force was the only way to subdue humanity. They argued that Earth's destruction would send a clear message to any other species considering rebellion against the Galactic Empire. However, other members cautioned against such drastic measures. They pointed out that a scorched earth policy would only solidify human resolve and galvanize support for the resistance. The council had never faced an enemy willing to fight for every inch of ground, and many feared that annihilating Earth would lead to unforeseen consequences throughout the galaxy. The emergence of new leaders. Meanwhile, on Earth, General Marcus Hunter continued to rally his forces. His reputation as a fierce leader grew with each passing day, inspiring more people to join the fight. He understood that this was not just a battle for survival, it was a fight for humanity's very identity. Hunter began to forge alliances with other resistance leaders worldwide. They shared strategies and resources, creating a network that spanned continents. Each leader brought unique skills to the table. Some were experts in guerrilla tactics, while others excelled in technology or logistics. This collaboration transformed disparate groups into a cohesive fighting force. One of Hunter's most trusted allies was Maya Chen, who had become a symbol of hope and resilience among the resistance fighters. Her ability to connect with people from all walks of life made her an invaluable asset. Together, they devised plans to strike at key alien installations while minimizing civilian casualties. The battle for resources. As the war dragged on, resource scarcity became a pressing issue for both sides. The aliens relied heavily on supplies shipped from their homeworlds, but human fighters began targeting these supply lines with increasing success. Resistance fighters launched daring raids on alien depots, disrupting their logistics and forcing them to stretch their resources thin. In one daring operation near a coastal city, Maya led a team that infiltrated an alien supply ship docked at the harbor. Using stealth and cunning, they managed to sabotage the ship's engines and set it ablaze before escaping unnoticed. This victory not only deprived the aliens of crucial supplies, but also boosted morale among human fighters. Psychological warfare. The Resistance also employed psychological warfare as part of their strategy. They understood that fear could be as powerful as any weapon. General Hunter initiated campaigns designed to demoralize alien troops by broadcasting messages highlighting human resilience and defiance. Resistance fighters would leave messages in alien languages near battlefields where they had achieved victories. Phrases like, "We will not surrender," or "You are not welcome here." These actions served not only as warnings but also as psychological blows against the confidence of the aliens. The turning point. As weeks turned into months since the invasion began, it became clear that humanity was not merely surviving. They were thriving under pressure. Each small victory built upon another until it became a wave of defiance crashing against alien forces occupying their planet. The tide was turning. Reports flooded back to the Galactic Council detailing human tactics and strategies that were becoming increasingly sophisticated. The Council's forces were being blood dry, their morale shattered with each passing day. In one pivotal moment during a skirmish outside Los Angeles, an alien unit found itself ambushed by what they thought was an unarmed group of civilians. Instead, these civilians unleashed a barrage of firepower from hidden positions, an unexpected twist that left the aliens reeling. This incident sent shockwaves through alien ranks and highlighted humanity's capacity for adaptation and surprise. A call to action. Back on Earth, General Hunter felt an urgency building within him, a need to rally more forces than ever before for what lay ahead. He called upon leaders from various resistance groups across continents for a summit, a meeting where strategies would be shared and alliances strengthened. The world was watching. Hope flickered like a flame in dark times as humanity prepared itself for what would undoubtedly be one of its most significant battles yet, the battle not just for survival, but also for reclaiming Earth from its invaders once and for all. During this summit, Maya Chen delivered an impassioned speech that resonated deeply with everyone present. We are not just fighting for ourselves, we are fighting for our children's future. We will show them what it means to be human, to stand up against oppression and refuse to back down. Her words ignited a fire within those gathered. They were ready to take action like never before. Preparing for war. With renewed vigor, resistance fighters returned home armed with new strategies and technologies developed during the summit. They began training more recruits than ever before, while fortifying defenses around key locations across continents. In urban areas like New York City and Tokyo, urban guerrilla fighters prepared for intense street battles against alien forces, while rural militias trained in guerrilla tactics suited for open landscapes. As humanity prepared itself for what lay ahead, a final showdown with their extraterrestrial oppressors, they understood one crucial truth. They were no longer just individuals fighting back. They were part of something greater than themselves, a collective force fueled by love for their home planet. A new dawn approaches. As night fell across cities illuminated by flickering lights from makeshift campsites, filled with soldiers preparing for battle, the spirit of humanity burned bright. They had awakened something deep within themselves, a fierce determination forged through adversity that would guide them into whatever lay ahead. The aliens had awakened a sleeping giant, and now it was time for Earth's warriors to rise. As dawn approached on what would become known as the Day of Reckoning, humanity stood united, ready to unleash everything they had learned from living on this death world. A world where even the smallest creatures could become fierce fighters when pushed against a wall. The Galactic Council was about to learn one undeniable truth. Humans do not simply fight. They endure, adapt, and ultimately prevail.